It's Fabri from Ephemera. So we are building XMTP. XMTP is a decentralized messaging protocol, soon to be decentralized. Right now it's open source, it's end-to-end encrypted, and we just released group chats. And group chats is based on MLS encryption, and it's like a 3-year-long milestone that we just achieved. And this is the first time that you have like a truly scalable open source end-to-end encrypted, and these group chats that are going to be soon to be owned by the community and the node operators running the servers. So you may have seen the announcement earlier this week. Group chats, because they use MLS, they have almost every security measurement you can think of. So you have this thing called forward secrecy. So the idea is that every time you send a message, the encryption key, the pair of keys change, the private key changes. So what happens here is that if an attacker gets access to one of the keys, because it has this forward secrecy property, it's not going to be able to access the past messages. And there is another thing called post-compromise. It's not going to be able also to use that key for continue to send messages. So even if it's hacked, the attacker only gets access to the current message and device that it has access, but it cannot send any more messages nor access the history. So these are truly secure group chats. So now we have the groups. It's open source. You can go build inboxes, yes, but that's hard. And we are thinking about what else you can build on top of groups and on top of apps. So who knows about frames? Who has built frames? And who has built bots? Who has experience building bots? Who has experience like interacting with Telegram mini apps? Yeah, you know? Okay, so we can think of Telegram mini apps as this so-called app layer. So what happened with WordCast, as we've seen, is that you can build on top of apps. So in the past, if you were a developer 10 years ago, and you wanted to build on top of Facebook or Twitter, it was possible for some time. You may have heard about this history about the Zynga company that was creating games, Farmville on top of Facebook, and then they got like racked, right? So they lose the business. And then all the APIs were shut down, and there was no innovation on top of messaging nor social for like a decade. And that was really frustrating for us, for devs. We had to build our own like CEO strategies to make the websites grow, and all the SaaS businesses were like funded by $1 million startups from San Francisco, so we never really got a chance. So I think this time with Web3 and with everything that is happening with in the app layer, now simple developers like JavaScript developers, web developers, front-end developers are going to have real opportunities to build on top of these apps and to access their distribution. So as devs, we want to access users. We don't want to be creating like full landing pages. We don't want to be investing in SEO, Google Ads. That market is saturated, doesn't work anymore. So we want to access the distribution of apps like WordCast, apps on top of Lens, and apps on top of XMTP. So building on top of groups, I'm going to be showing something that is not available yet. It's Converse Groups. And Converse Groups is on test flight right now. But the idea is that it's using our SDK it's called the MLS client. So I'm going to, there is a quick start already available in the XMTP repos. So this quick start is interacting with the API. And in this case, I'm going to run an example. We are going to,
can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay, so very basic example. We are going to create the wallet. This is going to create identity in XMTP. So XMTP is messaging between wallets, but first you need to sign up for the first time. So if you have an ENS address and I send you a message, you're not going to receive it unless you have signed up for the first time to XMTP. Then if you did, you're going to receive the message on your XMTP preferred inbox, which could be Coinbase or Converse. And because groups uses B3 and is based on MLS encryption, this is also called B3 identity. So this doesn't work today in Converse B2 nor Coinbase. So this is only working for now in Converse test flight. So if we run this example, it's using a private key, a test private key I have here. is creating an inbox ID. In identity B3, you can assign multiple wallets to the same identity. So you are not forced to use the same wallet. You can associate or delegate your conversations and your messages to multiple wallets. So in this case, my inbox ID was created from my initial wallet, but now I can add more wallets to this inbox ID and I can remove them, and it's very flexible in terms of how many wallets you can add. Then, because everything is encrypted, we are always going to be depending on a local cache in our conversations, because it needs to be decoded and encoded on the client. So there is also some details around if you change devices today, your conversations are not going to be available in the other app because everything was decrypted in your previous device. And yeah, we are using Beam wallet. You just need to create the wallet with Beam, add a signature. This was also not needed in V2. And in this case, we started a stream of messages, and well, there were no conversations created because I didn't send any message. So now, if we grab this this library, MLS client, and we think of how we can, if we have an app that uses this client, well, in this case it's a React Native SDK, how can we build experiences on top of groups? How can, imagine when this app gets to the millions of users, right? And we want to interact with those millions of users. How we do that? So we are developing this new SDK called MessageKit. And MessageKit is a way to interface with the app. It's like a way for creating Telegram bots, the Telegram bots version of Telegram for Web3 and built on top of XMTP. So it also has a cool CLI command. I don't know if you know Box, this library, but they don't allow for Boon here. But I'm going to do Boon anyway. So MessageKit comes with 3 examples. So the GM example, the one-to-one, and the group. So let's say we start with the GM. Okay, again, we always need to put the private key that we want to use. And in this case, we are in dev network, so that does not need to change. Let's use this one. No, can do Boon. And Boon dev. So if there was no private key, this will create random key. Random private key, we can save it for later. And it generates a wallet address. So, and this is all you need to create like an XMTP identity. So if I go to, this is Converse in macOS version. So if I create a new group with this address, because it's just signed up to XMTP, it's not going to display its name in the app. Okay, so I can add description, I can add name, and later I can add more members. So this is a group chat of 2 people, but I can say hi, and the bot is going to reply GM. Now, because it's in test flight, the stream is failing. We need to get that stream started. Let's also try on mobile. Okay. So this is the message kit structure of a bot. It has a stream that is listening to new messages that come from a group. And then it has the so-called context. And context includes many components and parameters. So in this case, I'm not using them, but we can know the sender of the message and the content. And everything is under development, so if you even if you have cool ideas, please tell me. But because I started with how can we build cool use cases, this is what happened, like this structure of SDK, just thinking about what can we do in terms of use cases and even business models. So in this case, I'm just replying GM, and that's all that is. And it's using the message kit SDK. So that's easy enough. Let's go to this is the message kit mono repo. And in the mono repo, I also have the examples, the GM example, but I have two examples more. The one-to-one, so it's a bot for handling subscriptions. So I can say jar them one-to-one.
You missed that and yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And this is the group example. And the group example, it was a way to talk about all these use cases. So we are going to see how we can create AI agents, how we can create a group chat that handles tipping, how we can handle betting in a group chat, play games through frames, handle transactions like sending money to other members of the group, split payments. This is a cool example of how to use AI vision for splitting a dinner bill, and admin commands, how to add members, remove members, change the group name. And this is all we are going to be using, like the concepts of all the primitives that are inside a group chat. So you can receive messages. This message can be text. If it's text, you shall receive a string. If you receive a reaction, you get the emoji in Unicode. It's also going to be a string. Sometimes you want to reply. So a reply has associated another message, so you get the ID of the message that it's replying to. Commands, we build this it's primitive for now, but kind of works. How you can use slash commands and send parameters, and those parameters to be parsed into a JSON array. And how to send images and then listen to membership updates and metadata. So let's try. Let's go into the group example. So this group has many commands which reference all the use cases we have seen. So the tipping bot is handling the tip command /tip and receives 3 parameters: users, amount, and tokens. And I can also specify what type of parameter is that. If it's a username, it's going to return me an array of users who are mentioned with yet. And the amount is also a number. So let's try this one. This is the L group. L group is associated with this wallet address. So I can say tip Alex 20. And you can see it just received the message, tip. It was a text, and also recognize how many tokens I'm sending. So what's happening here is that the index file which is more complex than the GM, but still this is all the code that from the index file. So what's happening here is I'm receiving a message. This message has a type ID that could be text, reactions, replies, and if it's text, I'm sending it to the test handler. And in the test handler, if it starts with @ this means it's an AI agent, and if it starts with /, it's a traditional command. So in this case, I'm declaring those commands here. This is a command handler, and I'm saying if it's tip command, use the tipping handler, and the tipping handler is another file in the handler folder. So I go to tipping, and this is the tipping bot. It's not using dgen, but dgen is just APIs. So dgen is a concept, could be any token. So what's happening here is that if it has received text, and this text starts with tip, then we are going to get information about its parameters. So we can log this now. Let's get the parameters of this command. I can send to 2 users. Let's send 100. So you get the type ID text, you get the array of usernames. This is related to the username field when I declare the commands. And it's also parsing the amount into a number. So it's very straightforward, very simple. We can also see the addresses of the user, the inbox ID, this is from XMTP, and the main address. Users are going to have like a main address associated with their profile. And then the reply is 200 tokens. The same works, this same handler is also handling reactions. So I can, or replies. I can reply dgen, 100 dgen. This is a different type of logic. If it's a reply, so if it's type reply, and I have, and includes dgen, this is just if you literally need to type dgen in the string, then it knows, extracts the number with regex, and it's just after that it sends you a notification that how many tokens were received. So that's an intro to commands. And these commands can generate frames. So if we do the same thing with a game command, I want to play slots. This receives the parameter type command declared in the commands. This is the game bot, and it only accepts Wordle, slot, and help. So if I also want to do game help, it tells me about the available games, and it's of type string. There are like 4 or 5 types right now. Now let's go into an AI agent.
Hey, sorry.
Yeah.
Is it possible to show all the available commands in like?
Yeah, there is a default help command.
Oh, okay.
And this gives me everything that's inside this bot. It's just a string. It's not generated like automatically for now, but I'm handling the help command. I think it was in admin.
this is a command that has this functionality, right?
It's just it was in admin. Yeah, it was in the command handler. So instead of creating a whole handler for the help command, I just created the handler inside this declaration. So what it does is has access to, so it parts automatically from the command.ts file. So grabs all the commands declared by the user, and then they are presented nicely in a string for users to use. And this is, maybe you know Telegram. They have this command palette. So if I'm in Telegram and I type a slash command, triggers all the possibilities. So this is the direction we want to go. We're also having doubts about, like, this is pre-AI. So slash commands, maybe they are good, like, in the past. Maybe they are not the best thing to do. Moving forward, still a lot to explore. But they are definitely, like, very fun to use. Commands are cool. Yeah, like we can add a user, admin add. I think Alex is already in the group. Admin, remove Alex. Right. So I'm not an admin. So the L group bot, okay, it's not, I should have an option here to make an admin. We can see later. But yeah, some things about the groups require admin privileges. And if you go to, this is like the group SDK literally from XMTP that you have access through MessageKit. So when you get the conversation, in the context of every message, this conversation is the group itself and is interacting with the SDK of XMTP. So we can get the name of the group, we can update the name, get the description, update the description, and then we can also add members, remove members, and load all the messages from the group chat. Okay, and now let's go into agents. This is like how can you declare agents as commands? You can have multiple commands and you can also have multiple agents. And those start with the @ symbol. So in this case, we are just using agent, and agent is GPT-4o powered, so I can say hi. Hello, how are you today? And the agent knows all this help command is already fed into the agent. So it knows what to do. So let's play a game. Now the agent goes to the commands, understands intent, and uses commands to return you a game, in this case a random one. So what's happening here is we have a system prompt that uses GPT APIs. I'm using the middleware from OpenAI, just the chat completions API. This is it. And I'm sending the system prompt, and the system prompt is this one, like, you are a helpful agent that lives inside the Web3 messaging group. These are the users of the group. You can access the members from the context. You can access all the commands from the context. So these are the members, these are the commands. If you are asked about jokes, make Web3 jokes about devs. And then if a user asks about performing an action and you think a command could help, answer directly with the command and nothing else. And populate the command with correct or random values, but never return it like a as part of like a bigger placeholder text, unless I'm explicit. So if I say, agent, explain me how to play a game with commands, now I'm being explicit, so it's going to, ideally it's going to skip. Yeah, it's going to skip performing the action, and it's just going to explain me how to use commands. And it's kind of like using Markdown, but I don't know, Markdown is cool, could be cool to have Markdown inside the app. Telegram renders the commands with, they highlight the commands. Let me see if, yeah, like you can click commands and copy paste them. So something like that could be cool. So yeah, this is like a default agent that has access to all the commands. It can also perform actions like agent send one ETH to Alex, so knows the address of Alex, knows the commands on how to send one ETH, knows about base frame, one of the frames we developed with Urbe. So all the parameters inside the URL, and that's how you can generate a frame through AI, commands, and then frame. And another cool example, if we take a picture of a dinner bill, now this is split payments use case on top of groups. Let's see what's happening here. This is receiving an image and is sent to OpenAI. OpenAI checks that it's a dinner bill. If it's not a dinner bill, does nothing. If it is, splits the payment into the members of the group. So the code is super simple. This is the system prompt for Vision. So if it's type ID remote attachment, the message sheet handles the decryption, and we have the file in base 64. So this is the bill of the restaurant dinner, return the total. If you can't, find the total. So first, I'm asking to return the total, and once I have the total, I use GPT text to perform the split and show the frame. 3 lines of system prompt, and now you have splitwise built on top of groups. This is how simple it is. And the instructions, like if you receive the totals, send 1 frame to each user, and it can answer also in a message stream. Doesn't need to be everything in one message. Questions so far?
Yeah, I have a couple actually. First one around the identity. Like in the beginning, you mentioned that you are allowing users to connect different wallets to the same identity.
Yeah.
But this means that XMTP will create a new identity for the user somehow. So you will have a username that is tied to your XMTP identity, and then you can connect addresses similar to Podcaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because another naming system.
That has not been decided yet, but it's the most possible thing is to have or XMTP naming system, or each app to have its own system. Maybe even it will be cool to use ENS, but probably at first, well, Converse has its own name system, Coinbase has its own name system too, so a way to put them together.
And then the other one is around the agent. So to call an agent, I have to use hot agent or hot something else. But what if I want to mention somebody in the group? Then isn't this definition of an agent limiting the other features for the app? Because if we use hot, then we can mention people in the group, and we were missing something that we already use on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And Telegram.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. That would break everything. Now, we have also doubts about multiple bots, maybe overlapping slash commands. So what happens there? So one idea is to, let's say this is not multi-bot ready yet, but if I do, let's say I want to do send command on the, bot 1, and then I put the parameters. So you specify the bot inside the command. That could be one possibility. And then the agent username, yeah, it should not overlap with any of the group chat usernames. We need to find a way to prevent that.
I think like a way to do that is maybe considering the agent a separate bot that is part of the group, so it's compatible with mentioning because you're not mentioning an actual person. You're mentioning the agent which has its own address and its own code running behind the scenes. So not overlapping with slash commands, but separating it and considering it as a member of the group.
So in this case, it's called L group. The bot is called L group, right? That's the handle of the bot.
Yeah.
So you're saying just add L group should trigger the...
Yeah, or agent. Like, let's say that I build an AI agent and I call it XMTP AI, and everybody can invite it in the group. And they can mention that the bot and send, and that bot will reply after elaborating the prompt. Yeah,
that would be like by default. That's a great idea. Now, if I want to, inside the bot, if I want to declare two, could even be like, instead of this, just doing AI, let's say, or slash agent, and then you declare them like slash commands. Maybe you don't need to make a distinction there. Yeah, those are things that we need to think about. Like even, yeah, you can even default to the bot username, and then you can do whatever you want inside there.
Something like Discord, I guess.
Like what?
Discord bots, they work the same way Limone told you,
Let me check that one.
Discord.
Yeah.
Like the bots are,
The bots are users, yes.
So
The bots are users, and you can just...
You mention a user, and if it's a bot, it responds. It triggers the bot.
Yeah, that's going to, well, in this case, remove the message.
And about the commands overlap, also taking inspiration from Discord, when you type slash, you can see all the commands that are available in the group from the different bots, and you can select. So that if there are overlaps, you can pick the one that you want. For example, we have in our Discord we have two bots that allow poll creation with the same commands, and we usually select one of the two. The one that we prefer.
Well, some things, because MessageKit is open source, right? So ideally, it's going to be used by any app that uses MessageKit and XMTP. So it could be used. It's going to be available in Coinbase Wallet, let's say. So everything. This is very opinionated at the client level. So it's like finding the right balance between making it easy for inboxes, making it easy for users to use them, for developers, and how you orchestrate the whole thing with minimum front-end like standards and development. So yeah, it's about finding the right balance. Like even this tab, this command palette, like it's a hard thing to do, like in front-end.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like we need to find the easiest way to make this work. But yeah, multi-bots, multi-commands, that's super cool. Yeah, they even have a tab for each bot.
But then there should be something built in Discord that allows when you select that command for that bot, there should be a way for the message to be directed exactly to that bot. So maybe they use a mention, I don't know.
Yeah, slash and mention. Yeah, well, in this case, these default commands, Discord knows about them, so yeah, this is cool. Yeah, I used to have I learned crypto because of Axie Infinity, and you too.
Same here, yeah.
I lost all my money too. Did you lost all your money?
Not
But at the time I was running a gaming guild in Venezuela of about, at the peak of the bull market, there were 350 players playing from Venezuela. We had like a whole management structure, teachers and investors and everything was managed by a Discord bot. The onboarding of users, the split payments, like weekly payments, the firing of low performance users too, everything was done through Discord. So I love Discord, and it's been really the inspiration for all of this. I don't have the same opinion of Telegram. Like, I don't know, I still haven't found like a cool Telegram bot. But yeah, have you heard about cool mini apps in Telegram?
Trading bots.
Trading bots?
Yeah, useful.
Yeah,
If
those are big.
You lose a bit of security at the user level, but they are pretty fast and to buy and sell.
But they forward you to, they give you URLs?
All in app.
All in app?
You delegate the wallet to the bot.
Yes.
And then, so you lose, most of them store your keys. So you lose own security basically. But,
yeah.
If you create a new wallet, you deposit some funds and you delegate this wallet to the bot, then you have access to.
And this is a Telegram wallet?
I think it's mini app wallet that store your keys and then use your keys.
But I can create like a MetaMask wallet and then put that key into the Telegram bot?
I think so.
Yeah.
So in XMTP you don't need that part.
No, like ideally it's not going, we are not going to have custodial wallets. Like you should interact directly with the, like you should accept, I guess.
Yeah.
The Telegram bot is just like goes.
Yeah, it's almost for session keys. It's a session keys use case. I think.
Yeah. Because for example in this, if I go to swap 1 ETH to DAI. So in this case, if the bot had my private keys, it could just swap it, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? So what's going to happen there, I don't know.
And in this case, it's going to, in this case, what is going to do?
In this case, it's going to take me to Coinbase wallet to make the swap.
Okay.
Yeah.
You built it. What?
I didn't use the app. I built the frame. I didn't use the app.
Yeah. We don't have transactions yet support, but we are going to start defaulting to Coinbase wallet.
Okay.
Because building a wallet is hard in the app, and also it's going to get us in a lot of problems with Apple. So we're going to try to take our time there.
When are transactions? When will transactions be supported? Like alpha? Do you have any idea?
Well, it's going to be part of the first public test flight.
Oh.
So we are not launching without that. Yeah, but right now, like while building this app, we are finding a lot of bugs in groups, in the SDK. So it's like a huge. Groups is a huge effort to make it like reliable to work, for the streams to work. So as soon as we get that like to really work, then we start with the cool features. Yeah, and then we tease open frames through MessageKit. So if you want to build frames on and in this case, on, for example, apps like Converse, you will need to use open frames, and there are references to the three main frameworks, and some tutorials about how to use transactions and so on. So the idea here is to, like, if you go to XMTP, you're not going to hear about bots nor frames. That's not from the protocol. That's is going to be inside MessageKit. If you want to build mini apps, you go to MessageKit and you learn how to build bots and how to build frames through open frames. And maybe we start also shipping new features to open frames. Like, for example, we were talking about no image frames or just buttons, like the Telegram bots. Yeah. Is basically no image frame with more buttons, right?
Right.
So maybe we can create that very easily for frames, like 10 buttons and that's it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It unlocks a lot of functionality.
It should be rendered by the app, and then I guess it's going to be some, I don't know, the buttons is very strict in 4. Yeah. To declare 4. You cannot,
4. Yes.
But,
up to 4.
But that restriction is put by Workcast. The SDKs are like, you can add more buttons.
I don't know actually. I never think about that with buttons.
Because it's an array.
Frames say yes, limits to 4. So I think it depends on the library you're using.
Yeah, it's one frames yes, limits to 4.
Okay.
But then they are just HTML meta tags, so
yeah.
Yeah, this one. This one is text and 2 buttons.
But like having more than 4 buttons maybe makes the mini app too complex. So I think it's a limitation that also helps with user experience.
Yeah.
Like having 5, 6 buttons. You should keep it simple enough.
Yeah, if you have like a mini app, it's different. If you have a message, it's 4 buttons, but if you open a new model, a new screen, having more buttons is more
like
accessible.
A lot more, something like that. Yeah, it could be interesting to try it out. So, for example, also David was talking about building an app.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said something about that because if he thinks of a new frames feature, there is no way for him to try it out, or like there is no way to implement it, right? So now everybody's building apps, but even the frameworks. But for example, in this case, let's say we are Converse, and Converse is going to be making decisions on which features are native, which features are available to devs, and it's this constant fight between, like, if a dev gets too successful, then the app is going to steal that feature and make it native. So how do you build an app that doesn't do that? And it's like, you know, not developer first, but equal opportunities for devs and for the app itself, like user's choice, you know. So that's going to be challenging. And then app directory is coming. So this is very early stages. We have some of the open frames be built already, some of the one-to-one bots we already built, and now it's time for the group chat bots. So ideally, this is going to grow bigger and bigger. And if you go to Discord, actually now they have this, they just went all into building mini apps. Discord build. The landing is super cool. And you can go to the app directory.
And anybody can add you to a group, or just your allowed contacts, or anybody can add you to a group chat?
Anybody can be added to the group? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, maybe because in Discord you have like a lot of verification steps before accessing a Discord server or something. What did you think about that layer of?
Yeah, there is also it's not here, but I have another section. It's called access, but we haven't decided yet. But the idea is that message kit is also going to be handling access. So you get the address of the one that is requesting, and if the bot is the admin, and let's say you need to hold 100 ETH to join the group, or let's say half an ETH, and then the bot says, okay, he's holding, I don't know, goes to AirStack, checks your balance in whatever, and says he's good, and you're in. Okay. The MVP is going to have something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Also needs to be a way to make it that it's not enforcing the app, like a way for developers to use it, and that it works in all apps. So the app needs to, if you, like everything needs to be, you need to add a bot. So that's not the most convenient thing, but at least it's like in terms of features, it's going to allow for a lot of experimentation. And also if you don't add the bot, the group is fully private, right? It's really secure, it's open source, you can trust it. Once you add the bot, you need to trust the bot. So it's another layer of trust. But at least you know who is watching. If you know if the app is watching and does its own thing, then it's an extra layer. Now you have the app listening and you have the bot listening.
And can you turn off the OpenAI chat listening to the admin bots, to the admin?
Yeah, in this case, I choose to integrate OpenAI in this bot, but this is not part of the SDK. This is outside. Yeah, it's just, this is part of the group, and it's completely optional. Yeah. I was thinking about putting GPT inside the SDK, I haven't seen anything like this anywhere, but makes sense to have AI as part of the SDK, maybe. Something to think about. And this one, so I can create a bed. No, about
Will there be spam inbox also for groups? So let's say like on Converse right now you have
the requests.
Main inbox or the spam inbox.
Yeah.
They're still receiving messages, but at least the client is easily categorizing them as spam. Will there be something similar for groups?
Yeah, that's live already. Let me see if the message gets sent.
Is this your private proposal?
This is a private test flight. It's not live yet.
But message kit is public already, right?
It's also private.
Oh, it's also private.
Yeah. Yeah, because there is no way to test it until we have the test flight of the app. Let me see. Okay, there it goes. So this one is using the SDK of the group, creates a new group with specific members. Maybe you can also assign the bot. This bot is going to handle maybe gated access, so you have everything you need, and it goes into spam.
Okay.
And then it's like bet created.
How does it recognize that it's spam?
Do you have a registry or a contract?
How it recognizes it's spam?
Yeah, an address, it's reported as spam on a registry, or?
Yeah, no. This one by default is going to spam for now. Then the app is going to check if this address is in your contacts, you know, that type of checking. We are not doing that right now. But for example, Converse V1, they do check if you have previous. They do check if the user is part of Converse, for example. And if it's part of Converse, then goes into the main inbox. You know, those are decisions that are up to every app. Okay. At this point, is no opinions. It's going to spam.
Okay. Nice.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.